If you're familiar with the Lassonde curve, value creation in junior miners, we're at that just pre-discovery phase where you get that rapid increase in value. And it's really quite a privilege to be here.
Joining us for a conversation is Michael Rowley, the CEO of Group 10 Metals. Mr. Rowley, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Maurice. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back on the program as Group 10 Metals has a big announcement for shareholders regarding the Black Lake Drayton Gold Project. Before we begin, Mr. Rowley, please introduce us to Group 10 Metals and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Group 10 was active through the bear market, acquiring good assets. And one of those we'll focus on a bit today with Ontario. But our primary focus came in the door in 2017. We have basically half of the iconic Stillwater complex in Montana, and we're advancing our Stillwater West project there as a premier source of low-carbon green metals, besides Sibanye-Stillwater's mine complex. And a key point, I guess, to touch on, within the next few weeks, we expect to debut our maiden resources there. This will be nickel, copper, palladium, platinum, rhodium, gold, and cobalt. And we expect that debut will compare favorably with our peers and position us for growth based on this year's drill campaign, which is now underway. Along with owning half of the Stillwater district in Montana, which is remarkable for a junior, we also have two other district-scale land positions. We have the Black Lake Drayton Gold Project in Ontario, which you mentioned earlier, and the Klaune PGE-Ni Nickel-Copper Project in the Yukon. All three of these are big brownfield land positions in great districts beside really good examples of deposits or mines of their type. And we own them 100% because we were acquiring things strategically during the bear market when great assets were available inexpensively. So, point of today's call, I guess, now that we are more than ever focused on Stillwater, those non-core assets are effectively up for sale or spin out, and we're pleased to announce the first of what we think will be a series of deals in that regard.
Well, let's begin today in Ontario as Group 10 Metals has just announced a letter of intent with Heritage Mining on the sale of the Black Lake Drayton Gold Project. Congratulations, sir.
You bet. Thanks. We're really excited about the potential we see there. Heritage is a new listing with an excellent team, and they're well equipped to focus on Black Lake and give it the attention it deserves, which is obviously we're not giving it that attention. And while granting us excellent exposure to their success there in the gold market. Just to summarize Black Lake quickly, it's a rare asset, very hard to find in this current market. With increasing activity in junior exploration and M&As. It ticks all the boxes. It's a big land position. It shares an emerging district with a 3 million ounce development stage high-grade gold project, and yet it itself is underexplored. So there's lots of smoke. Someone just needs to find the fire. Treasury Metals has done great work to the west of us, consolidating the rest of the district. And Rainy River is farther to the southwest. They're now in production with New Gold. That whole belt was late to the game in Ontario because of limited access and shallow ground cover. But it was the Rainy River mine in the 1990s that changed all that. And now there's over 14 million ounces in the belt, and it's growing. And we're looking forward to seeing Heritage apply those exploration techniques and mine models that were developed west of us on the Black Lake project for everyone's benefit.
All right, let's get into the exciting stuff. Sir, please share the terms of the agreement with us, and in particular, the cash and share compensation that Group 10 Metals will be receiving, along with the carried interest and the potential for discovery payments.
Yeah, it's a great deal for both parties. Group 10 will gain a major share position in a newly listed company that's focused on precious metals and focused on developing tier 1 assets, developing resources. And we get that 10% free carried interest through to feasibility study. So we can be at the table at a later stage to negotiate the sale of that during a possible broader consolidation play in the district. We think the district looks ripe for that as Treasury continues their work and as the market continues to improve. We received 320,000 in cash payments in the first 2 years of the deal as well. And we received bonus payments of $1 for every ounce of gold that is formally brought on the books in any category at any time, and even in multiple stages. And there's a $10 million cap on that. The district already hosts more than 10 million ounces, so that figure is certainly possible given the area.
So that we better appreciate the terms, would you please provide us with a quick bio on Heritage Mining and what they bring to the table?
Yeah, they're a very experienced team with an excellent track record of raising cash and advancing projects, especially in Ontario and Quebec, actually. So they're familiar with this geology. They're really keen to hit the ground, which is very pleasing to us because the point of this deal is that we want someone else to raise the $5 million and advance this asset the way we think it can be advanced. So they certainly appear to be capable of that. They have an excellent track record of proving ounces, developing mines, operating companies, and marketing, raising capital. You can see more information on them at heritagemining.ca. On the website.
Where will this transaction put Group 10 Metals in terms of ownership percentage on the share structure for Heritage Mining?
Well, we'll have to see what their first placement looks like once they're trading, and that's a couple of months out from now. But we expect to be about 10% of the company initially, and then maintain between the 5 and 10% level from there. Key point on that note also is that we have that bonus structure and that carried interest. So we're not relying solely on our share position for value. We've got several avenues here for, to be exposed to that success that we expect them to have.
And when does Group 10 Metals expect the transaction will close?
We look good to close around the 60-day mark, around mid-October.
Leaving Ontario and on to the Yukon, where Group 10 Metals has another non-core asset within its property bank that equally has been receiving a lot of interest from prospective buyers. And I'm speaking of the Klaune PGE Nickel-Copper Project in the Yukon. Sir, any updates for us?
Sure, yeah. Klaune Project, of course, we have over 250 square kilometers in the Klaune Belt, which is a fantastic belt of deposits. Another ultramafic system like Stillwater, reaching from BC through to into Alaska. The most advanced one there is Nickel Creek Platinum, formerly Wellgreen. And the news there is that they've been increasingly active in the past year, and that's really good to see. They've been drilling, they've been doing geophysics, and they've been doing it up on the northwest end of the system towards us, which is music to our ears. We'll be seeing them at Beaver Creek, and we're looking forward to further activity from them. You're correct that we're getting more interest in those projects, and that they, like Black Lake, are effectively for sale. We just have low carrying costs, and we're taking our time looking for the right deals.
Leaving the Yukon, let's visit Montana, which hosts your flagship Stillwater West project. But before we get into the latest news on the Stillwater West, would you please remind us about the unique value proposition before us on your flagship project?
Sure. It's pretty fantastic, actually. In 2017, the opportunity was presented to us to own half of the iconic Stillwater district, which sounds too good to be true in a way, but it's thanks to a number of factors that came together really nicely at the time. Most of all, a local vendor who had spotted a bankruptcy that left these claims available, and he was quick. He bought the data from the past operators, and he tied up the claims. We've since tripled the land position. We now own half the district. We've built a terrific database, a predictive geologic model. The point is that we are well on our way to proving ourselves as a primary source of green metals, battery-grade nickel, copper, cobalt, with platinum group elements, palladium, platinum, rhodium, and also gold, in a U.S. district beside 3 mines and a smelter complex. These are big, disseminated sulfide deposits. They convert easily and cleanly to nickel sulfate. And we are weeks away from our first resources on the project, which is a very exciting moment for any junior exploration company. This will be a solid debut. It'll position us nicely among our peers. and we see terrific room to grow it from there. If you've seen our news release back in April where we related the 3D models from our IP survey, you've seen the emerging images of our resource models and the potential we have for expansion.
Oh, that's music to my ears. All right. Yes, sir, it has. The Stillwater West is currently undergoing its largest exploration program to date, which is a 10,000-meter drill program that recently added a second drill rig. Sir, take us on site and get us up to speed on the program.
Yeah, 2 rigs turning, which is music to our ears. We're hitting sulfide very nicely in both, massive sulfide in places, net texture and disseminated in others. The predictive model that we've been working up the past few years is working beautifully, and that's a key point. We're now hitting with a high degree of predictability, which is what geologists want to see. It's a well-mineralized district. Our neighbor has 87 million ounces in current resources reserves and 14 million ounces in past production of the highest grade palladium platinum in the world. That's a single magmatic pulse laid down across 40 kilometers. These things are staggering in scale. And it's also a nickel copper sulfide deposit is worth noting. So we're just below them in that stratigraphy, and we're seeing similar continuity of these horizons. When you identify them, and we're hitting new ones all the time, they seem to run for great lengths, and it's easy to add ounces and pounds. The program that you mentioned that's underway now should do very nicely for expanding the inaugural resources as fast as we can in 2022. So we'll debut numbers here in summer 2021, and then look to expand them as fast as possible in 2022.
All right, you have 2 truth machines drilling away. Do you already have some core in the lab, and any time frame on when we may receive some assays?
Yeah, the first 1.5 holes are in the labs, include some really nice looking core. And I would put, the labs are saying 6 weeks. So give me into October to get those into a news release.
Now, we won't hold you to that, but we will hold the labs to that.
There's the fine print there.
Yes, sir. All right, switching gears, let's look at some numbers. Sir, please provide the capital structure for Group 10 Metals.
163 million shares outstanding at today's price. That puts us 50-something million market cap. We feel that's significantly below where we could be based on our peers. I think a good peer might be Canada Nickel, for example. Noting, of course, that they don't have the platinum group element component that we have. However, they are 4 or 5 times our market cap with a similar large lower grade nickel project. And we think that makes a compelling comparable. We have 6 million cash in the bank, and we have 13 million of in-the-money options and warrants. Those are priced between 21 and 30 cents. No placements planned for the foreseeable future, and fully funded, fully permitted for this year's program and even into next year at this point.
You know, and speaking of those warrants, expect for me to go ahead and exercise mine. I know you're been more than deserving, and this is a great time for anyone that has participated to consider exercising those warrants. Speaking of the shares, Group 10 Metals recently upgraded its DTC eligibility. What does that mean for shareholders?
Sure, I actually had to look into it myself to be reminded. DTC is an electronic clearing service. So this basically simplifies the process of trading and enhances liquidity for American traders, which we have a really good U.S. shareholder base. So this is meaningful in terms of fast and efficient settling of those trades.
Before we close, Mr. Rowley, what would you like to say to shareholders?
Exciting time for the company. If you're familiar with the Lassonde curve, value creation in junior miners, we're at that just pre-discovery phase where you get that rapid increase in value, and it's really quite a privilege to be here. It's exciting to be systematically exploring the Stillwater complex, which is famously metal rich and yet also underexplored, and it's remarkable. But the 215 drill holes to date across 32 kilometers of claims, 61 square kilometers, that's not a lot. And we're testing things all the time that have never been drilled, and we're finding nice-looking sulfides there. So to be the ones systematically adding value and looking like, in terms of the market, that we're on the left end of the Lassonde curve, but actually knowing that we're much farther along in terms of having comfort about some size and grade here. Pretty exciting.
Last question. What did I forget to ask?
Well, it's probably a good point to touch on the broader commodity markets. And, metal markets are basically going sideways at the moment, but the fundamentals are in place, perhaps more than ever, for a really good, steady increase. So we're looking for metals, in fact, all the metals in our suite, our commodity basket, to resume their upward momentum, likely this fall. We've got the Fed meeting behind us today. Things look positive. The fundamentals are there, and we're looking forward to increased value for all our commodities, especially, I think, nickel. We're hearing increasingly of the coming shortfall in nickel sulfide in particular, clean nickel that's good for batteries, or rather makes nickel sulfate in the most environmentally friendly manner. We're excited to be part of that, and we're looking forward to that renewed momentum. This feels to us like a really good buying opportunity now in the August doldrums, I guess is the point.
Sir, for someone listening that wants to get more information on Group 10 Metals, please share the website address.
I'd be glad to. www.group10metals.com.
Mr. Rowley, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Wishing you and Group 10 Metals the absolute best, sir.
Thank you. You as well.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.